God, what happened?
Amy! Ross! Amy!
Nikki. Gone?
Nick, what happened?
We're all the size of boogers.
Illusion. It's been part of the magic of Hollywood for decades. Is this a giant 5-foot lead mutant from the planet Zartok? Perhaps. But now we see by changing the illusion that it becomes just another number 2 pencil from Earth. Hello, I'm Rick Moranis. We've always had a fascination with gigantic things and microscopic objects. And so has Hollywood, which is why we're here. We're going to take a wonderful journey behind the scenes of the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's about a professor, as played by yours truly, who via his newly invented shrinking machine accidentally shrinks his kids and his neighbor's kids to a 1/4 inch in size. Hence the title, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I play the I in it. I remember when I was a kid seeing all those great B movies, like the one where bugs would swallow large vats of radiation and come back as mutant spiders that would eat anything in their path. I think one of those bugs was my Uncle Leo. Ever wonder what it would be like to be attacked by a 50-foot woman? Do you want the most terrifying horror? Here it is, a 50-foot crab monster. I think we'll need a little more cocktail sauce for this baby. Remember the attack of the puppet people? After I saw that, I never trusted Howdy Doody again. But the film that took a giant step was The Incredible Shrinking Man, which was the forerunner of its time. Even there, I can't figure out how they did it or why in some cases, but it does make you realize how far technology has come along. If you look at the space shows of the 50s and 60s, they tried to create the illusion of traveling through the universe. But compared to today's movies, they're light years away. Walt Disney was one of those responsible for this giant leap in technology. The studio was a pioneer in animation, and Walt's curiosity about size relationships can be seen in some of the early work. Like this short, Mickey Through the Looking Glass. Remember this interpretation of Gulliver's Travels? Meet Gulliver Mickey. Here's the great classic which really set the standard for big and little movies, Alice in Wonderland. In 1988, Disney's Who Framed Roger Rabbit brought both animation and live action to a whole new dimension.
Idiot. I got no keys for these cuffs.
Huh?
And the Disney tradition continues with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the movie that will take those big and little things in life to new heights. Okay, guys, you can start that special main title now. Illusion. Where does it begin? Well, obviously, it starts with the idea. Our idea is about 4 kids on an incredible journey through their backyard. Where's the illusion in that, you ask? How about if you're a 1/4 inch tall? Now that's illusion. To make that work requires a wonderful script and enormous preparation. It also requires a storyboard, where the idea is translated to line drawings that show us what the film will look like.
In a film like this, that has a lot of special effects, the storyboards that carry on the vision of what was needed in those scenes and help the stop-motion animators, help the special effects people put it all together.
In the storyboards, he's still on a blade of grass when he's at the very top,
Now, this might not make any sense to any of us, but in this room, the storyboards are checked and rechecked to make sure everyone is in sync. Since the storyboards reflect what is going to be shot, it is important that all questions are answered in this meeting.
Are these angles the angle you want?
The bee is diving, and they're in the same position, so we're shooting like this on them. So there's no reason why the bee just can't be like this.
Great.
Don't you have to shoot the kids on that?
Well, the only thing we'd have to shoot in the kids would be the kids flying through the air.
Which one should we talk about shooting?
If we went back to the old boards, we have to storyboard what the picture will look like, the entire picture. And if the monster is going to be up high here or down here, if they're going to be on a tabletop or whatever it will be. And from that picture, we decide what focal length lens we'll use, how high the camera will be, how far away the camera will be. So we do all the planning we can do, and obviously you can plan as much as you want. You're still going to end up with times that you wish you'd planned better and didn't turn out right, and you've got to finesse it one way or another. That will happen. But that's the reason for the planning.
Now comes the fun part of the illusion of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Let's see how our storyboards turn into reality. It's really magic. We would have been here much quicker, but I lost my baggage. We're on the back lot of the famous Churubusco Studios in Mexico City. You know, the movie business is not all glamour and excitement. This place was hot. I'm talking like mosquitoes passing out over the heat. Not only was it hot, shooting down here presented a bit of a language problem. Other than that, we had a wonderful time. But making a foreign country look American was a challenge to production designer Greg Fonseca.
We have something like 48 different sets, and in approximately 80 days of shooting. We built all this backyard. It's pretty amazing. Actually, what it does is cover up studio buildings from most directions. There was an English garden back here, which we took as the basis for established lawns and things like that. And we completely surrounded it with this American neighborhood, mostly Victorian houses for mid-California type architecture.
What makes this movie so unique is the special effects dealing with the relationship of size. Now, getting a simple piece of flagstone is a small problem, but it's a big deal when you need it the size of Mount Rushmore.
If you look at the flagstone, it is it's a sort of a limestone. It's been laid down in layers. And one of the parts of the adventure that the kids go through takes place on the edge of this actual piece of flagstone. But they're only 1/4 of an inch tall, which makes this about 35 feet tall over their heads. And I'm just going over to the stage where they are in the process of building the side of this piece of flagstone, where one of the kids falls off and lands into a pool of mud and almost drowns.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids holds the answer to every child's prayer. A giant 30-foot chocolate cream-filled cookie. Just think, one bite and you can have cavities the size of Buicks. Let's go meet the man who is the master chef of this amazing tower of sweetness.
So what we've done here is one side of the cookie smaller than the other so that it seems to be going away further than it really is. And then the script calls for kids to go up in here and take some of the cream filling out and eat it. And about that time, they were interrupted by ants.
I had an aunt like that in Cleveland. Seriously, when it comes to turning fantasy into reality, there's no studio like Illusion Art, where the miniatures come alive. Here we have smaller versions of our giant cookie and ant, as they are precisely shot frame by frame. A 5-second sequence can take hours to actually get on film. As the miniatures are being shot, the giant ant is developing his own personality.
The ant's being run mostly by cable. Other than that, we have the mouthpiece right over here, which is remote control. The eyes themselves move by remote control, and the legs work with puppets as marionettes. So it takes somewhere between 7 to 12 people to make the ant run. But whatever arm movements are done by the operator can be repeated by the ant. This part moves just basic antenna movements. Ant can basically do anything.
Roll sound, roll cameras.
It's all part of the illusion to make everything look real.
Nick, over there, over there. Come on, get behind him.
Nicky, come back here, Nicky! The others will come any second. Help! Nicky!
Go, Nick.
Nicky, no! Get off of here!
Log in.
You're allergic to ants! Get away! You're gonna get shot! Nicky, stop! Get away!
Hey, Zelensky, give us a hand. Rod, go for it.
Hey! Hello! Ant! Nice ant. Come on, you guys. You guys, come on. Somebody take this cookie. Nicky, take this thing. Help! Nicky! Come on, you guys, this is your ant.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids wanted to take audiences where they had never been before, to experience an incredible journey that can only be captured by the magic of Hollywood and the art of illusion.
When we filmed it, we literally flew a camera around the yard, and with a wide-angle lens in the camera, flew through the yard, just like the bee would fly through it. Now we had to put the kids on the bee in front of that, and there were two ways that was done. One, we built a giant bee that was big enough for the kids to be on, and we laid them on it, blew wind against them, rocked it back and forth, put them in front of a blue screen. Everything that was behind them, when we composited the pictures in the end, became the plate, became the flight through space. The rest of the shots has a mechanical bee, a very intricate, expensive mechanical bee that has joints in it with kid puppets on it that look very accurate and very in great detail. This bee that we built probably cost about $30,000 just to build the bee. The kids are probably about $10,000 a piece. So it's we're not doing it to save money. We're doing it because we can make that bee fly with a motion control camera in a way that we could never do it with a model of kids on the stage. So consequently, with those elements, we were able to put them all together and mix them up and cut them quickly enough that it gives you an incredible sense of flight when you see it.
See how a simple Sunday afternoon bee ride can pick up your day? Are you ready for a simple household broom and ordinary dustpan to pick up and throw the kids away? I wasn't either, and neither were the kids. First, let's stop back to our friends at Illusion Art, where the inserts for the broom sequence are being filmed.
Okay, it's got to come down smoother. You kind of staggered it when you came in. And you actually have to hit the floor. Okay. All right? That being, it'll all sandwich very nicely with the background plate. Then you've got the kids' miniature. That's also another element. And you've got this one here that's also an additional element. Plus, there's dust elements as well. See, when the broom, when the father comes in, the broom, then we've got to put dust in the shot, then you got to put the kids in the shot, then you've got debris that goes in. So there's quite a bit. Optically, it's tremendous.
If you thought the bee was big, take a look at this stage. This gigantic studio is set up to look like a tiny piece of floorboard. The broom is actually pieces of foam that were carved out and tied to a very solid rigging. The kids were strapped in using guide wires to ensure their safety.
I think it's a lot easier conveying it to kids because they have such good imaginations. And they don't really think about it. You know, they're on an attic floor. They're in a set that with 35, 40-foot blades of grass. They don't think about it. They're in the environment.
Easy for you to say, Joe. That's only half of it. Next is another fun ride, the oversized dustpan. Luckily, the Fuller brush man isn't here.
And I think my main concern is with the kids is that we have some very large, oversized pieces of machinery that come down with them. Some of them are as big as 6 to 8 feet long, maybe 3 or 4 feet wide. So what I'm mostly concerned with is when we send our kids down the oversized dustpan is that some of these large pieces of debris don't hit them once they get to their pads at the bottom. Now, as the day progresses, after we finish with our actors this morning, in the afternoon we will use our stunt doubles for the part of the scene where we remove the platform at the bottom of the dustpan and we allow all the stunt doubles to go down at once with all of the debris. None of the debris will be attached to cables. Everything will just go all at once. We'll have boxes and we'll have pads down at the end to catch them to make sure that nobody gets hurt.
I've never worked with a stuntman before. And in one scene, I'm supposed to slide down this giant dustpan, you know, glass and stuff flying all over me. And I just landed on these mattresses and everything. And then I saw my stunt double. He came down and he went off the thing and he went flying 30 feet in the air and he landed into these cardboard boxes and I was like, oh my God.
Along with all these great special effects and gigantic props are several death-defying stunts. They're actually my favorite part of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids because I don't have to do any of them. There's one scene where I'm strapped into a harness invented to help find the kids. Dizziness was not the problem. But when it came to throwing myself 20 feet into the air over my neighbor's fence and crashing into a small pond, I took a big pass. The kids may be good-natured about doing stunts, but I'm chicken. That's our super stuntman, Michael Cassidy, planning out the shot with our director, Joe Johnston.
Is this. We get up to a certain point, okay, we're ready. Then when you say you're ready, it's like we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we've got about 3 beats there before I can actually go because I have to get positioned in a bend.
Okay, you can be on the swing and show us.
Oh yeah.
But give us the timing so we can rehearse for that. Okay, good.
This is an air cannon we're using to lift 10 gallons of water. Camera position's inside the window, so as he flies overhead, on impact, we'll fire this. Throw 10 gallons water up that way. Good sound on that. And it's just an easy way of getting the timing right.
Rolling! 1!
You would think that when a stunt like this is performed, you'd only have to do it once. Some guys have no mercy. But when everything goes according to plan, well, that's magic.
Sit, Quark. Stop. Sit, boy. Quark, get away from there. Quark. Quark. Get away, boy. Drop it.
Thank you, officer. We'd appreciate you sending somebody by. Oh, okay. It's 646.
That guy's got serious problems.
Thank goodness we had a great time making Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's the fun part about making movies, or about any job, really. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids had that wonderful chemistry that allowed all the characters to develop. You really cared about them.
This role, I took a liking to because of the character. I really liked the character. I thought he had a strong part, and I thought he had a personality, and his personality did develop over the time. in the script. So I decided I like this, and it appealed to me, and I'd be working with all this stuff. I'd be riding an ant, and it really appealed to me.
It's a Disney movie, which makes it, you know, Disney. It's like you go to Disneyland when you're a kid, and, you know, it's Disney. And also, it was a fun part, you know, and it was fun. It's a fun idea to work with all the kids, because there's always someone there to talk to and to play cards with and to go swimming with and play tennis with, you know. I've had a lot of fun so far.
I never woke up this morning. This is all a bad dream. Ron, get up. Yours is a nightmare. When I get up, Dad and I will be going fishing.
I'm warning you.
Okay, Ron.
Maybe you're right. Maybe this is just all a bad dream. But if it is, would this hurt?
Ow! Get up!
If you were my brother, I'd put myself up for adoption.
Yeah, hope your face ends up on a milk carton.
Action! Marcia Strassman plays my wife in the movie. Not only was she fun to work with, she's very understanding.
She's just your mom. She's a normal mom. I mean, she is the least character of anyone in this movie. She's just sort of theirs, but moms always do have the least character of anyone's there, so the thing you get to do is you play yourself as best as you can.
Diane, I got something real important to tell you. That is the couch from the attic. You can see the marks where Quark chewed the arms. I found it on the floor. It's my thinking couch.
Wayne, are you trying to tell me you did it? It works? The machine works? Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know.
That's great!
No, it's not that great.
Why?
I shrunk the kids.
What?
And the Thompson kids, too. They're about this big. They're in the backyard.
What?
Threw them out with the trash. Stay here. I'll get the door. Yes?
Did you report some missing children?
Oh, there must be some mistake. Ours are in the backyard. Right, honey? She's... Thank you.
Hello, America. We were about to watch a movie happen. The magic of the silver screen. It's not all glamour, okay?
My next-door neighbor in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is crazy Matt Frewer. You might remember him as Max Headroom. During this interview, he would not let me get a word in edgewise.
So the shot that we did today.
Yeah, the shot that we did today. Will be married, in effect, with a piece of film of the kids running up the foreground, and then you'll see it in the movie, cut together, in the thing, in the whole sequence of me looking through the grass for the kids.
Russell? It seems strange when you look at me today, but when I was your age, I was not much bigger than you.
I know, Dad. You've told me about it a million times.
All right, just hear me out. The point is, Coach put me on these babies. You know what happened? I put on 20 pounds of pure, unadulterated, blitz the quarterback and rip his head off muscle wrestle. Now, I'll make you a little bet. If you work out for 3 months, you will be throwing farther, you will be running faster, and you will be hitting harder than anybody else on that team.
While actors are always having a good time, producer Penny Finkelman worries about all the problems well in advance.
I mean, that's the point of building it here, is that we can do, this is the second unit, we can move around with it. So we don't have to be restricted to that.
But, you know, the mall out at...
Yeah, near us.
Paris Sewer. We should go there.
Or do you want to look at the one near our house, which is even...
Yeah, either one would work.
I think we anticipated everything. We anticipated the difficulty. We anticipated the length. We anticipated the complications. That doesn't mean that everything doesn't surprise you. You wake up one morning and it's a situation you knew would come, and it's still a surprise.
Sort of anticipated. It's always more work than you think. It always seems easier when you start out than when you're in the middle of it.
And when you're in the middle of it, you wonder if you're ever going to get it done right. But you know in the end, from having done this before, it'll finally come out okay. The greatest thing in the world, of course, would be for people to see this movie, walk out, and not even think about the fact that there were special effects.
What is it? Earthquake! No worse! Lawnmower!
I think we'll be safe in here.
Well, if you want to see what happens next, you'll have to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I hope you learned a little something about what and who it took to make the movie, and that illusion is truly a sophisticated art form, always changing, always improving, but always magic. The next time you're ready to stomp on an ant or swat a bee from the sky, just remember, you can never tell what lurks in the jungles of your own backyard.